Hi, this is Michelle from Toolfarm, and today I'm going to walk you through a little project I was doing with Mocha Pro 5. I'm using it within After Effects, and here's a shot that was taken in Scotland. What I'm doing in this shot is removing the people and removing the sign, and I do it in two separate passes just because well, I probably could have done them in one pass, but I changed my mind later and decided that I wanted to remove the sign as well. I've used Mocha quite a bit, but not really for very intense things. I don't work on a lot of client projects these days, so basically I spend a lot of time testing software so that I am familiar with them, so when our customers ask about a product I can recommend it or possibly support them a bit. So this I just dove into, and I was trying to play with the new remove module. And once I've figured it all out, it's really easy. There was a little bit of a learning curve, and maybe it's my own either ignorance or just not paying attention that I missed an important step and I was getting really frustrated. But once I went back to one of Mary Poplin's tutorials, it just like hit me in the face. Oh man, I can't believe that I forgot to do that. I'm going to walk you through how I remove the people and the sign from the shot, and then I'm going to use some of the Boris Continuum complete filters to make this kind of spooky. I'll add some atmosphere and I'll do some film effects to give it a cool look, and I'm even going to add a ghost. Ooh. So here's a bit about Mocha Pro before I walk you through my removal project. It's a planer tracker from Imagineer, and it's fast and precise, and it will save you a lot of time on tough removals of objects, rotoscoping, stabilizing, and more. I've mainly used it for stabilizing and rotoscoping, so this was a new one for me. I'm trying out the remove module in this project today. Imagineer Mocha Pro is a standalone application, but there's also a plugin option that supports many hosts like Adobe After Effects and Premiere, Avid Media Composer, Apple Final Cut Pro and Motion, Boris FX, Nuke, Maxon Cinema 4D, and more. First, I'm going to apply the Mocha Pro effect to my footage. It's under Effects. I just need to click the Mocha logo to launch Mocha. And I'll play my clip here. You can see where the people are, where I need to remove them. So I found it easier to just track a piece of the moving footage. So I'll track the man as opposed to drawing a shape around him right away. And that is because Mocha will track the background elements instead of just tracking the person in this case. I'm just going to draw a shape around his upper torso here and track that. I'm going to leave the minimum percent pixels used at 90 and leave perspective turned off. I want to make sure that the grid tool and the surface tool are both turned on because I want to track the angle that they're walking, and I really just need to make sure that this is a good track. So I'm going to track it backward first because I started in the middle of my shot, which I often do. That looks like it's tracking pretty nicely. I'm going to jump ahead using the keyframe thing here. Jump ahead to the keyframe and then track forward. All right, that looks really good actually. I'm going to name my layer Man. It's always a good idea to keep organized, of course. And now I'm going to draw the shape around the couple here. I'm going to name that People. And then I'm going to change the color on this so that they're easy to tell apart. I changed the alpha color, and now I'm changing the shape color so that they're easy to differentiate quickly. Adjust a few of those points on my mask. And now I want to link the people layer to my man track. Just play that. You can see how well it links. Looks like I might have to adjust a couple of the points there. I'm losing his feet, which is no big deal. Drag those points down and play that again. Have a couple more adjustments to make, but otherwise it looks pretty good. And now I'm going to adjust the edge properties here, the edge width. So I'm going to turn on the alpha so you can see it here. And then, oops, I just have one selected here. So I'm adjusting the edge width. I'm adding some feather on that. You can see when I hit the plus button, it adds a little bit of distance there, and it will feather it for me. Now it looks a little wonky, like it's all over the place, but you're going to be surprised how well it will replace the people with just background. Let me turn off some of this stuff here. I'm going to use the X-spline now to isolate the area where they're walking, and they're only walking in this small area. So that's probably pretty good. And let me just track that backward. Let me name my layer first. I'm going to call that background. The layer order is really important here. You want to have the area closest to you in the top of the layer stack and what's farthest from you at the bottom of the layer stack. Now I'm putting this man in the back because I don't really want that to interfere with anything, and I don't need it anymore. I just needed it to link to the people. So here I am tracking backward. I just wanted to make sure that the people stay inside the shape area that I drew for the background. It does go in and out of focus here, but it does a pretty nice job of tracking that nonetheless. You can jump ahead to that keyframe and then track forward. Just want to make sure that they stay inside that area. Alright, so I'm just going to turn off that man mask there. And select the people layer. So there's one thing to take note of. If you set keyframes, you'll need to adjust the edge width again. That's a good thing to take note of. That looks better. All right, it's just easier to see this way with none of the other the overlays turned on. So down in the remove module, I have the people layer selected, and you notice on the left we have this input area, and down here it says clean plate clip create, and what that will do is save a layer that I can open up in Photoshop. Now I'm in the middle, and I chose this area specifically because the sign isn't in the way, and the people, they're just in front of grass and pavement, so it would be easier for me to clean up. So I'm saving that file, and then I'm going to open it in Photoshop. So I can use a combination of the patch tool or the rubber stamp tool. There's a lot of ways to remove this. You can use the content aware fill for that. That looks pretty good. You just want to maybe adjust a couple of things so we don't have any hard edges here. For that I'll use the patch tool. There's so many great tools in Photoshop to be able to do this kind of thing now. Alright, make sure there's no funky edges or repeating patterns in here, or anything that's overly fuzzy. That looks good. Alright, so I'll save that over top of the old one. I'm going to go back to Mocha and click on Use Clean Plate exclusively, and now I can render. This little button here that looks like a gear is render, but I want to make sure that I have it set to linear and randomize here. Now these are for illumination modeling, and so if there are lighting changes in the shot, you might want to use interpolate. There's not really any lighting changes here. A little bit at the end, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, so once I have that all set, I'm going to click render, and you can see how it removed the people. It's pretty impressive how easily it does that. Alright, so while I was recording this, we had a power outage and I lost everything that I had recorded. However, I have the project file, so I'm just going to basically walk you through what I did instead of showing you every bit. It'll make this a bit faster as well. I tracked the sign with the green spline first, then I created the red spline, which is the area that I want to replace. I again created a clean plate and painted the sign out in Photoshop, and then back in Mocha in the remove module I rendered the result. You can see that it's gone there, and this has been done previously. So let me just go to File and Export Rendered Clip. I'm not going to do this because I don't want it to save over everything that I've already done, but you just export your rendered clip and then you can bring that into After Effects. So once you're back in After Effects, you can use the tracking data for a lot of other things. For example, I used the tracking data from the sign that I tracked and removed to place a Victorian lady ghost. I don't know if you remember, quite a few years ago there was a product called Crowd Control that Toolfarm used to sell. Well, it's one of the clips from that. And she has a built-in alpha channel, so I didn't have to key her or anything like that.
I just had some fun with this. It's not for a real project. I just added some atmosphere. Let me turn on some of the layers here so you can see what I did. I added some clouds. I just used the BCC Clouds plugin for that and set it up with a lighten mode. Then on top of that, I added this Victorian lady, and I used some of the Boris Continuum Complete plugins. I used a BCC Fast Film Glow Dissolve, and I don't have it on all the way, so it keeps her, sort of translucent. And I put a BCC Fast Film Glow on top of that. Then I have an adjustment layer that I'm just calling Film Look. When I turn that on, it's got a lot going on here. I have a fast film process with a fast film glow on top of that, a vignette, and some film grain. So here's the final result. It's just a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of gothic horror, and this sort of feeds into that. I just did, a few little things here, but if you needed to do heavy lifting, it will totally do the job. And it's very fast and efficient as well, and it's easy to use. I would just recommend watching a few tutorials first so you're comfortable with what all of the tools do as you would with any product. And the Boris Continuum Complete products, as you know, I'm a big fan of those, and those really help enhance the final shot. Well, thank you for watching. This is Michelle with Toolfarm.